first of all, I just want to say a very big thank you for all of you coming today on your Sunday. I know typically Sundays is a family day, so you've sacrificed some family time to be here this morning. So I really, truly, I do appreciate that so much. Before we get stuck into the nitty-gritty of things, I'll just let you guys know that if you do need to go to the toilet at any point, the toilets are just to the end to your right. And if you do have any questions, by all means, just please put your hand up at any point, because I don't want this just to be me just talking, you guys sitting there. I do want it to be quite interactive. So yeah, please just at any point, if you do have questions. We will have some question time at the end as well. So if you want to wait till then, that's fine as well. So first of all, I thought I'll give you a little bit of my why behind this event. So I know there are so many people that really struggle with just the basics of nutrition, but also meal prepping and trying to get ideas of what to cook. Because I think quite often we can just always go for the safe option and regularly cook the same things day in and day out, and then we get sick and tired of eating repetitious food all the time. So I just really wanted to try and educate you so you can make more informed decisions when it comes to meal prepping and your food choices. Because I feel like there is just, to be honest, there's so much bull, I know there's little kitties, but bull, you can fill in the blanks, out there in terms of, what diet you should be following, or, if you should be eating carbs or no carbs, or, there's just so much out there, and quite often it is all conflicting information that can lead you to just being really confused with what the right thing to do is. So I'm hoping that when you leave here today, you'll be able to have a lot more just really tangible advice or information that you can then implement into your lives pretty much as soon as you leave this door. Because I want you to be able to go, yeah, that was a really good idea, or I want you to be able to utilize what I'm teaching you into your real life, everyday routine, pretty much. I want you to also remember that healthy eating, or eating nutritiously, it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it most certainly, this is like the biggest key, it doesn't have to be restrictive, because I think so often we are told to restrict certain foods from our diets day in and day out, and I feel like when we're told we can't eat something, we more likely want to eat more of it, or we then start reverting to the whole binging side of things, which I'm sure majority of us have done at some point or another. Now, I don't think there's anything more disheartening than doing a diet, getting some great results while you're on the diet, finishing the diet, and then what happens, you put that weight back on. And I think, again, all of us can put our hands up and say, yes, that has happened to me at some point of our lives. So yeah, I just want you to just realize that it doesn't have to be so complex, this whole healthy eating, or, it's just really making sure you're eating in a way that you actually do enjoy. Now, before we get into the whole meal prepping and everything, I thought I would give a little bit of an introduction into myself and my guest today. So we have Sarita Holland here. So with Sarita, I first came familiar with Sarita when I used to watch The Price is Right on TV many years ago. So I'm just kind of like showing my age. And look, to be honest, I wanted to be Sarita when she was on The Price is Right. Like, I used to try and do the whole hand, gestures when showcasing the prizes and all of that. And so that's when I first became familiar with Sarita. And being a Collingwood supporter, she's married to an ex-Collingwood footballer. She is a mum of 3. Now listen to this, because when I first heard this, I was like, this is insane. So she fell pregnant with her firstborn, which was a beautiful girl. And is it 2 months later? 2 months later, 2.5 months, fell pregnant again with twins. So I think all of us mums can appreciate how bloody hard that would be to have 3 kids under, was it 10 months? So that is crazy. So yes, and the reason why I really got Sarita in here was because if you do follow her on her social media, you will see that she's quite active in terms of meal prepping with her children. So she's always in the kitchen with her 3 kids, and I feel like that is so great for the kids and really empowering for them, because it gets them involved in the cooking process. It gets them involved in like measuring and, you know, feeling different food textures. And I feel like when your kids are involved in the process, they're more inclined to actually want to eat the food. So yeah, I really love how she does that. Now, she does work part-time as a fit model, meaning not fitness. So she basically just tries on sizes for brands. And she has her own podcast as well, which is called Couch Confidential. So it is a really great podcast. It's almost like you're just sitting with some friends in a conversation. Yeah, it's a really cool podcast to be listening to. So I would highly recommend you get onto that. And yeah, she's a mummy blogger, and she does use Instagram as a platform for her business. So I'll get Sarita up. I've got a mic somewhere here. So she can give a little bit more information about exactly what she does.
Hello everyone. So yeah, basically I actually still find it difficult to talk about my job because people actually don't even realise my job exists. So I'm a fit model, and when I say that, most people think, oh, fitness model, and they probably look at me and go, no, you don't look that fit. But yeah, so a fit model is someone that brands hire to remain the exact same size. So I've had to remain the exact same size for the last 8 years to the measurement, so 90 centimetre bust, 70 centimetre waist, 99 centimetre hips. And basically I try on garments for different brands and just make sure that they fit me perfectly, and then they go into production. And yeah, so my only job basically is to stand there and remain the same size and try on clothes throughout the day. So usually I tell people that's my job, but I also do make money from Instagram, which I still find hard to talk about, and I hate the word influencer, but I guess that's what I am. So yeah, I have different brands reach out to my agency, and then they pay me to promote a product. I'm very transparent in saying if I'm being paid for something, but I only say yes, obviously, to the brands that I truly believe in. And how did I start that? Basically, I used to love taking photos of my kids, and I had maybe 3,000 followers on Instagram. And then one day, just, being in my pajamas for 3 years at home with 3 little kids, I just thought, oh, how fun does it look to go to all these events and possibly get free stuff, So I started just thinking, how can I build up my following on Instagram? And it's really hard these days to build up your following, really, really hard. Back 7 years ago, you could get 50,000 followers. I don't know if they paid for them, or it wasn't an oversaturated market. But yeah, so I started just posting every single day and just being very real in my stories. And then, yeah, I don't actually have that many followers on Instagram, but it's enough to be like a full-time job, pretty much. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The good thing about my job too is I still haven't lost probably 6 of the kilos after having my twin boys. But the great thing about my job is I have to remain a healthy size 10. So for me, that's pretty easy. If they wanted me to be a size 8, I think I'd struggle big time. I actually even got in trouble for working out. 3 years ago, I got really fit and I was weight training. My body was the best. I wasn't at all skinny. My body was the best it has ever looked, and they actually took me into the office and said, we need you to pull back. We need you to stop training so hard because your body is not like the average person's anymore. And because I work for Portman's and stuff, I need to look like, the average mum, I guess. So that meant that I went from training 5 days a week, and I literally went, oh, stuff this, and it really disheartened me, and I just stopped training altogether. Yeah. And yeah, I have been pretty slack since then, but I do a couple of Pilates classes a week. But yeah, so it's kind of the opposite of being a model, isn't it? I'm being told to stay, not exercise, keep my cellulite.
and stay the way you are. So at least you don't have that pressure, which is nice.
Yeah, you know what, if I lost my job tomorrow, I think I'd go hard at the gym because I really felt good before. And I had a completely different mentality than what I had when I was modelling on The Price is Right. Back then it was all about being skinny. And I never exercised back then. Like, I had the fittest, hottest husband, and I was the laziest bitch in the world. Like, just did nothing. Like, probably, I reckon my husband saw me exercise maybe once a year, but I was just lucky. I mean, I'd have a weekend of eating minimally, and I'd lose 3 kilos for a photo shoot by the Monday. It was all unhealthy, obviously, but now I'm. I guess it's easy to maintain this way. I would like to be able to exercise more though and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah, well there you go. So that's a little bit about Sarita. So you will be seeing a bit of her throughout today. So thank you, yes. Okay, now a little bit about me. So I'm sure a lot of you do, oh no, I think it's all good. I'm sure a lot of you do know, so I'll keep this as brief as I possibly can. But basically, in terms of my childhood, I was the type of girl that would, I hated sport, like actually hated playing sport. So I was the girl that would pretend to forget, you know, her sports uniform at home. I would get my mum to write letters that I had my period every week. You know, I was that girl that just didn't like sport, and now look where I'm at, you know, in the health and fitness industry. So I basically was a school teacher, and then I was dating Aaron. Aaron is my husband, for those that don't know. And he was running boot camps. And he was getting quite busy running boot camps. And then he was like, you know, would you be interested in maybe getting a PT certificate? So I was like, awesome, I'll do that. So I was teaching and doing my PT certificate at the same time. And then when I became a qualified PT, I started running boot camps. But what was happening was I'd wake up at about 3:30 a.m, I'd train myself, go run a boot camp, go do teaching. From teaching, I'd go back to running a boot camp, then I'd come home. So as you can imagine, my day was quite long, quite hectic, and I was just very tired. So something had to give. So we decided that I would stop teaching, and I would just put all my heart and soul into Body Revival and helping, you know, grow it as much as I could. So yes, that's pretty much how I got into this kind of industry, I suppose. So yeah, I really loved teaching, but I do find this as a form of teaching anyway. So yes, that's pretty much me. So let's get stuck into that theory component. All right, so basically, I think what we have to start to realize is health is so much more than just food. It is holistic, meaning that it basically encompasses so many different avenues of your life. And I think a lot of people just associate weight loss or, you know, being healthy with, oh, I'll just eat really well. Where in actual fact, that's not the only thing that matters. So in terms of, you know, health and, you know, being what's good for you, there are so many different elements. So, you know, it could be, you know, your emotional health, your mental health, you know, how your digestion is working for you, how hydrated you are. All of these things really does matter when it comes to your overall health. Now, I'm going to give you an example for example, because I think most of us here are mums, and I think we all would have felt the whole sleep deprivation at some form or another. Now, if you're not getting adequate sleep and really good quality sleep, it will impact you in so many different ways. So, for example, if you are the type of person that likes to train in the morning and you haven't got enough sleep throughout the night, there are a few things that could happen. Number one, you might press snooze on your alarm. Number two, you might sleep through the alarm. Number three, you might go, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna go train. And you get up and you go train and you're not able to give it your best because you're just tired. And then you get frustrated at yourself because you just haven't had a good session. Or maybe you're the type of person that doesn't train in the morning, but you still haven't had that good quality sleep, and you go to work and then it comes to that 3 p.m. time and you're searching for something to really just give you that energy spike. So you go for like some chocolate or chip or some lollies, and then you eat that, it gives you that energy high, and then you have that crash. And then it comes to like 6 p.m. and you're at home with the kids, and you're at your wit's end because you're so tired because you haven't slept properly, and you don't have the patience for your children, and you're just being really angry, and you're being short, and you're snapping at your husband, and you can't be bothered cooking, so you're like, you know what, let's just order Uber Eats. Does it make sense? So this is why health is so much more than just what you're physically putting in your mouth. And this is why we really need to be looking at all aspects of our life and really just focusing on trying to better at least one aspect until you've really perfected that, and then move on to something else. So it's not about trying to change everything all at once. It's about trying to just, do your best at trying to fix one thing at a time, because then it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Now, I want everyone to, first of all, stand up if you have followed a restrictive diet before. Stand up. So there you have it. Majority of the room has followed a restricted diet of some sort before. Now, what food, just shout out, what's some of the foods you had to restrict? Carbs. What else? Dairy. What else? Sugar. Salt. Perfect. Okay, so the people that eliminated carbs from your diet, how did that make you feel? Tired? No energy? Angry. Yes, I can feel that. What else? Those kinds of things. All right, so I think we're getting a pretty good idea of how, when you eliminate something, how it can make you feel. Now, how long did you do it for? A couple of weeks? Yeah, okay. So some people it may be a couple of weeks, some people might be a couple of months, but I think the basis is that you can't really do it long term. Is that correct? All right, and what happened when you started to introduce those foods that you restricted from your diet? What happened? You put the weight back on? Felt sick? Yeah. Yes, you ate so much more than what you did prior because you had eliminated it, and you're like, yes, give me all the carbs. Yes, perfect. So you can sit down now. So yeah, it just goes to show that quite often when you do eliminate something, it's not going to work for you long term. And when someone says to me, Stacey, I'm going to try this and this diet, my first question that I always ask is, can you do this long term? And if the answer is no, my response is, do not even start it. Okay, so really just every time you go and you read, I don't know, maybe a Instagrammer that is saying, do this diet because it's going to work really well. Or, you see a magazine and it says, this celebrity is doing this diet. Ask yourself, if I was to then do this and incorporate this into my life, would I be able to maintain this long term? Okay? Now, I've got here a few different types of diets that have come about, but again, there are so many more that I haven't listed. So I've got things like low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, calorie counting, Weight Watchers, juices, detoxes, the skinny teas, the list can go on and on and on and on. And ultimately, they are all doing the exact same thing. Everything is all about being in a calorie deficit. Meaning burning or eating less calories than what your body is burning. Now, what are we all striving for? We are all striving for weight loss, to get our idea of what a great or a perfect body would be. And really, what we have to really start focusing on is, you have to think every single person in this whole universe, every single being is here because of a female. Like that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Like everyone is here because a female has given birth to them. Yet we sit here and we hate on our bodies. We sit there and we nitpick at our bodies, and we don't actually realize what a miraculous thing that is. That we're all here because of, what our bodies have done. And yes, during pregnancy, you may get some stretch marks. You may, your hips might get wider. You might get saggy boobs. You know, we might have some cellulite here or there, or, you know, whatever it is, but that's an amazing, like, they're all amazing things that, you know, we have come through in order to be able to give birth to someone. You know, like my C-section scar, I've had 2 Caesars. I love my C-section scar so much. Like, I love it because it's like, that's like my little tattoo, I suppose, of me having my boys. And like, there is no way I would change that, alter that, want to get rid of that. And we have to start really showing praise and showing so much more gratitude towards our bodies and what it has done. Because I think when we start showing that real gratitude and that and having true love for what our bodies are, what they are doing, I really think that we then start being able to put more respect and showing our body more respect and then treating it better. Like then we're more inclined to, you know, maybe want to eat better because then we can feel really good, or, you know, those kinds of things. So I think it's really important to just really remember what we have done and not have so much hate towards it. And I listened to a podcast the other day and the speaker said, view your body as your home and your friend. And I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful, because I don't think many of us do view our body as our friend and our home. So next time you start hating or start nitpicking, I want you to really just remember that phrase. Treat your body like it's your friend and your home. And I think you'll have a whole different aspect or a whole different outlook on the way you view yourself. Because I think so often we're so hard on ourselves, yet there's no need to be. Like, you know, we've come so far, we've you know, birthed these amazing children, and you know what your body is, it is. And as long as you're fueling your body the right way and trying to keep as healthy as you possibly can and nourish it in a way that it then performs at its optimum, then you're doing all that you can. Okay? Now, I'm not even looking at my notes. I'm just like, I got this. So what we should really be striving for is not perfection, because none of us are perfect, and we should really just be focusing on that progress. So it's all about those small steps every day. So what can you do today that is going to be better than what you did yesterday? So for example, if yesterday you drank 500 mils of water, what can I do today to improve upon that? So it might be you're aiming for 750 mils. And then the next week it might be, okay, I'm going to aim for 1 litre. Because I think often we can really not hydrate our bodies the best that we should, and I'm guilty of this. I used to drink like 3 litres a day, and now I sometimes struggle to get 2 in just because I'm so busy and I just forget. So sometimes it's things like putting an alarm on your phone to remind you, okay, it's time to drink more water. Or, you know, having little goals during the day and go, okay, by 9 a.m. I want to have drunk 500 mils. By 12, another 500 mils. By 3, another 500 mils. By 6, another 500 mils. So then you've got these little goals that you can then, you know, try and adhere to for the rest of the day. And remember that it's all about consistency and just really trying to be as consistent as you possibly can in these little goals that you're trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, consistency is going to get you to where you want to be. Now, so in terms of Sarita, did you feel any pressure at all for you to like bounce back, being that you're in a, you know, more of a public eye?
Well, I guess, I'll start by saying I feel like what I love about Instagram is the fact that you can scroll through and there's not just one body type that's being celebrated.
Yep.
I find that strong is really sexy these days. Whereas when I was, you know, a teen, I had Dolly, a girlfriend, and all the girls were really skinny, and I thought that was perfect. But then again, I was only reading those once a month. With Instagram, I'm on there all day, like scrolling. But I think I definitely felt pressure. I think I felt pressure more in public. So really confident in front of the camera because I knew everything was going to be airbrushed back then. And then on The Price is Right, I guess I did feel a bit of pressure because a couple of the other girls were really skinny, but then I think that they liked me because I had a few more curves. But these days, I don't really feel pressure. I don't even care about my stretch marks. I don't care that I've got a bit of cellulite. I think as long as my husband loves me and my kids think I'm a good mum, I'm pretty happy.
Yep.
Like I don't go flaunting my cellulite around. I'll just maybe focus on the parts of my body that I like.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really don't get hung up about my body, and it's
Yep.
certainly not perfect. But I think my husband still thinks I'm sexy, and he's happy with whatever he gets. So
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I think it's so important to really have that true happiness from within, and it does take time, and it does take work, and yeah, I think it's just the whole thing about changing our way of thinking is really, really important. Now, comparisons. Now, I must admit, I do this all the time, and I still do it, and I remember when I had my second born, Presley, there was a lady that I follow on Instagram who also had her child at the same time as me. And I remember she was in, I think a week later, she was in her jeans, and then she would post, a couple of images in her little crop top, and I was like, whoa, like, how did her body get like that straight away? Like, that's insane. And then there was me who, definitely didn't look like that. And, comparison can really put you in such a negative frame of mind. And I think we now can compare so many different things. Like, you go on social media and you can compare, oh look, her husband bought her flowers today. Oh look, she's going on a holiday to this place. Oh look what she's eating, what her kids are eating for dinner. Oh look at what, like there are so many different things we can sit there and just compare and compare and compare and compare. And when we're doing that, it just leaves you in just such a really negative headspace, and they do say comparison is a thief of joy, and I so 100% agree about that. So what you have to remember is, regardless of who you follow and who you think is more maybe superior to you, each person is exactly the same. All of us burp, all of us go to the toilet, all of us get shitty at our children at one stage or another. All of us, everything. We all do the exact same thing. So I don't want you to sit there and put someone on a pedestal, because then it just ultimately puts you in a pit. Okay, so just remember that we are all the exact same people. It doesn't matter, your background or anything like that. We are all the exact same. Now, what we should be really focusing on, and it's kind of like alluding to what I mentioned earlier, really listening to your bodies, okay? Because we have all these misconceptions that we need to be eating regularly, like, oh, it's breakfast, I must eat. Oh, it's 2 hours after that, I must eat. And we're forgetting to actually listen to our bodies and go, hang on a minute, am I actually hungry, or am I eating out of stress? Am I eating because I'm bored? Am I eating because, I don't know, I've just got nothing to do and I'm just at home and I know that there's an amazing protein ball in the fridge, so I'm just going to go eat that. It's all about really listening to those hunger cues and going, okay, am I eating out of pure habit, or am I eating because I am genuinely hungry? And these are the things that really are important, and you need to really be in tune with yourself and really start listening to. And also what you should be doing is, am I making the best choices that I possibly can? So if you go to a food court at a shopping centre and you've got your fast food, your typical fast foods like your Maccas, your KFCs, and then you've got on the other hand maybe like a salad bar or something like that. Am I making the best choices that I can? Am I going to go to Maccas or KFC and get some hot chips and a burger? Or am I going to opt to maybe create my own salad? So it's about trying to just, with the circumstances that you're in, making the best choices. If I haven't food prepped, and I'm going to the supermarket, am I going to make the best choices? And now at the supermarkets, there is so much, like when people say to me, oh, Stacey, I don't have time to food prep, or, I didn't food prep, so I just went and got some takeaway. For me, it just means you did have time, or you just haven't prioritized it, or you're just not making the best choices that you possibly can. So at the supermarkets now, they have got all the pre-packed salads that you can easily just go grab one, chuck a can of tuna in, put a little bit of balsamic dressing on top, and it's done. It doesn't have to be really exciting and really interesting. It's just about fueling your body in a way that it feels good. And really remembering to listen to your body, because your body is continuously sending you signals day in and day out. And if you eat something and then sure enough, you start to get bloated, well, maybe your body isn't really digesting that food that you ate properly. So maybe you shouldn't be eating it. So it's about really, again, being in tune with what your body is saying. Now, in terms of the basics, in terms of our food intake, really, your overall food intake should encompass these types of macros. So your proteins, your carbohydrates, your fats, and your vegetables. Now, each one of these macros benefits your bodies in different ways. And this is why it's really important you don't restrict any form of macro from your diet. Now, in terms of protein, why do we need protein? Females in particular, we find it so hard to build muscle, and the more muscle you have, the more fat your body burns. So it's really important you're eating enough protein in order to maintain your muscle mass, but also to try and improve upon your muscle mass, and also to try and keep you nice and full as well. In terms of carbs, carbs is your energy source, okay? If you are feeling foggy, like you can't think properly, you're probably not getting enough carbs. If you're feeling really low in energy, you're probably not getting enough carbs. And I always use this analogy. Imagine trying to get into your car and trying to drive it with no petrol. It's not going to work. It's the same thing for our bodies. Imagine trying to, operate effectively if you're not getting the carbs that your body needs, because that is your energy source. It is your brain function. Fat is your backup source of energy, but it's so important for things like our hair, our skin, our nails, and really important for our mood stabilization as well as our hormone stabilization. So I know, for example, if you're struggling in terms of maybe your menstrual cycle, you might need to increase your fats a little bit to try and stabilize that a little bit more. Vegetables, obviously all the fiber and the vitamins and minerals that are in there, majority of your food intake or your plate should incorporate veggies in it. And then sugar and alcohol. You don't need to eliminate these things. It's there for enjoyment, so you can actually enjoy your day-to-day intake of food. But obviously it's about the portion control that is going to be key here. Now, in terms of your protein, carbs and fats, per gram, protein per gram is 4 calories. The same for your carbs, per gram it's 4 calories, and for fats it's 9 calories per gram. So fats are a little bit higher. So this is why it's important, so important to incorporate your fats into your diet, but you do need to be very cautious with the amount of fats you're eating. So if you're having a handful of nuts, it might pay to actually portion out those nuts, because you might grab a massive handful and then that will really have a massive dent in terms of the calorie consumption that you're currently eating. So I've got some examples there in terms of proteins, so like chicken, turkey, salmon, tuna, your beans, like your 4B mix, your chickpeas, that kind of thing. In terms of your carbs, obviously your rices, sweet potato, brown rice, cereals, fruit. And a lot of people don't actually realize that fruit is a carbohydrate. Every single fruit contains carbohydrates, some more so than others, but they are a carb. And then fats, things like avocado, nuts, and why I said be careful is because nuts are one of those things that are so easy to really snack on, and before you know it, you've consumed like half a packet of nuts, which is like a huge amount of calories right there. So I actually had a conversation with one of my girlfriends about this, and she was just like, what if I just cut down my calories really, really low? I'll get some great results. Yes, you will get some really good results initially, but what will happen? So you hear of a lot of these like challenges where females are being put on to 1,200 calories. And 1,200 calories is very, very, very low, okay? Now, you're eating 1,200 calories or 1,000 calories, just say. You get some great results. You're like, yes, this is the best. I'm getting some really good results. I'm losing some weight. Then your body plateaus, because your body is amazing at really adapting to things. So your body adapts to that 1,000 calories or 1,200 calories. And then where do you go from here? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting results anymore. What am I going to do? Oh no, I'll just cut my calories again. So I'm going to cut my calories to maybe 900. Okay, do that, you cut your calories again, and then it's just this vicious cycle of cutting calories, not getting results, or getting results, then not getting results, plateauing, and then you're just going to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the thing is, when you start to get really low in calories, I don't know if any of you would have noticed this, your body starts to resist. It starts to resist you losing any weight because it is fighting, because it's getting dangerously low in terms of body fat, and it will start fighting that way to lose weight. So this is why it's really important. You don't just drop down your calories and just keep on doing that like a vicious cycle. It's just not sustainable. You will end up binging. You'll hate the process, and it will just put you in a really low state of mood as well. And I know, like for example, when Aaron did his photo shoot, look at him there gobbling down the food. When Aaron did his when he did his comp, he had to get down to quite low body fat. Oh my gosh, he was the worst person to be around because he was just so angry day in and day out, had no drive for even like day to day, like had no energy to even walk to the park with the kids. It was like, I'm just like thinking about it gives me anxiety. He was just moping, like so slowly walking to the park like I was literally killing him, like dragging him there. No, that's too fast. So it's just like when you do get dangerously low and you just don't have that energy, that kind of stuff starts to happen. You know, you're just not enjoying life whatsoever, and then you think, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Can I say something? I'm with Dad right now, and it's so good. Like, I'm stronger, I'm better, I can manage the kids, like I can run around, I can eat, like whatever I want to a certain degree, but I appreciate my body for what it can do. Like I did powerlifting comp this year, trained for a marathon, doing 100 I did 100 on the walk, but all that time I was more than 15%, 20%, like around 80% body fat. I was running the time I was like 5% body fat, and I felt shit. Now I'm a lot higher, and I just appreciate what I can do now, and I'm able to do so much more in comparison. Yeah, I'm looking good for like a certain amount of time, but is it sustainable? No. What I can do now is so much more. I just appreciate that a lot more. So I'm just happy.
There you go. A little bit of food for thought. Now, in terms of flexible dieting, some people love it, some people don't. And I'm not here to advocate or to push it on you, but why I think it is so good is because you can enjoy any food that you like. So if you're the type of person that loves pasta, by all means, have the pasta. If you're the type of person that loves, Wendy's like, yep, I love the pasta. If you're the type of person that loves pizza, by all means have the pizza. Like I have pizza pretty much majority of every single dinner that I have. And I sit there and I enjoy every single mouthful. And yes, it's not like your typical, pizza base with all these different toppings, but it's how I like to eat my pizza. And at least I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying the process, and I don't feel like I'm ever missing out at all. So, this is why I think if you were keen on trying it, you need to find your BMR, which basically is your basal metabolic rate. So how many calories you need in order for your body just to live, okay? And then obviously you need to be eating well above that as well. And then you'll buy some food scales in order to start measuring. You'll download the app, MyFitnessPal, and just start playing around with it so you can see, I wonder how much calories this has in it. Or, it's just a really good way to educate yourself in terms of the food you're eating and what macros are in that food as well. And then really making sure if you are going to go down this road, if you're going to do it, you have to do it properly. Okay, meaning you have to start measuring literally everything that you consume. Things like condiments, oils, butters, sauces, all of that contains calories. And quite often, the things like the oils and the butters, we do put it on our like salads or whatever it might be, or in a fry pan, but those are quite high in calories. So it's really important that if you do it, you have to do it properly. Now, comparison. So I just thought I'd do it. This is, I think it's quite fun. Well, I think talking about food is quite fun. But comparisons, just so you can get an idea. So cottage cheese and ricotta cheese are very similar in terms of their calorie quota. However, cottage cheese does have higher protein. So if you look at 100 grams of cottage cheese or ricotta cheese, you're looking at 97 calories per 100 grams, as opposed to Tasty cheese, per 100 grams, 432 calories. So there's a massive difference, and different ways you can kind of like switch. You know, maybe if you're using Tasty cheese, maybe you might switch it to a healthier option, to like maybe some cottage cheese or to ricotta instead. You know, things like white potato and sweet potato. As you can see, everyone thinks automatically sweet potato is going to be much healthier for you. But if you look at the calories on its own, they're very similar in terms of the calorie content in both of them per 100 grams. However, pumpkin, such an underrated vegetable. It is a carbohydrate, and you can easily just save some calories or switch, you know, and switch to pumpkin for fewer calories, being only 45 per 100 grams. Tuna in spring water versus tuna in oil. Now oil, that is draining the oil, but still obviously the tuna has been bathing in the oil anyway, so you can't get rid of all of it. But tuna in spring water is 77 calories versus 113 calories. Okay, so again, different ways you may be able to save. Burgers, I mean, everyone loves a burger. If you're having Helga's bread, it's going to be 117 calories per slice, versus a wholemeal muffin is going to be 111 calories, versus if you put your burger in some lettuce cups, you're looking at only 15 calories. And yeah, my sister's laughing. me and my sister are very different. Yeah, in terms of, you can put the actual ingredients that you would put in a burger in a lettuce cup, and honestly, it tastes so good. And in terms of wraps, barley wrap is 96 calories versus something like a Lebanese wrap, which is a lot bigger in its size. But again, you're looking at 225 calories. So these are different ways you could go about trying to save some calories if you wanted to. Now, in terms of burgers, where's my little thing that has, here we are. Okay, so Grilled is the healthy burger company, yeah? And it's great because they use actual chicken breast in their burgers, which is awesome, because a lot of the time it is like McChickens and KFC, they are more of your processed types. And then you've got Nando's as well, which does use chicken breast, okay? Now I'm just gonna go over and just show you that this one, which is a low carb one, I don't know if you've actually seen that in person, but the bread is literally paper thin. Like, it is so thin. So thin to the point that the ingredients in the burger soaks through the bread, okay, because it's like literally that thin. So if you're looking just at calories, okay, so the Macca's burger is 350 calories, okay? Remember, it is a very high processed type of burger, but it's 350 calories. KFC is slightly higher, being 396 calories. Okay, then we go over to the Nando's burger, which is more of your proper chicken breast, so not as processed as the other two. And that one's 505 calories, so a little bit higher. Then you go to your Grilled, your standard burger, which is the very one on the end. And that one is 547 calories. Okay? Then you've got your low carb, which is slightly lower, which is 526 calories. But remember what I said about the actual bread being pretty much, you're not eating any bread, it's just like thin. Yeah, pretty much. And then you got your gluten-free burger. Now, I know when the whole gluten-free buzz came about, I must admit, I did jump on the bandwagon and I was like, yes, I'm gonna go gluten-free. I'm gonna go to the cafes, get gluten-free bread, thinking it was the healthier option. But quite often, in order to make something gluten-free, you need to add in quite a lot of fat into it. Like, so you might use like coconut flour instead. meaning it is going to be higher in calories. So quite often when people think they're ordering the healthier option, being a gluten-free option, that one was the most highest in calories, being 676 calories. So I understand there are people that are genuinely celiac and they have to have gluten-free. But if you're the type of person that is ordering gluten-free thinking you're ordering the healthier option, maybe rethink that, okay? Because the gluten-free is 676 calories versus your standard, which was 547. So that's over 100 calories difference in something like that. Now, in terms of burger versus salads, again, quite often you'll go to a restaurant and you'll order the salad thinking it's the healthiest option, which quite often it can be. But the key here is always look at the ingredients within the salad, because more often than not, salads when you go to a cafe will include things like dried fruits like cranberries. They might include nuts and seeds. They may include avocado. They may include, what else would be in there? Maybe like some croutons. And then the dressing. And all of those things, majority of those ingredients are all fats, yeah? Which means it's going to sky high the calories of that salad. So in this instance, we've got a burger and we've got a salad. The salad is actually higher in calories. Okay, so in terms of the salad, you're looking at 600 calories for the salad versus the burger, which was 540. Okay, so don't always just assume because it is a salad, it's going to be the healthier one. That's not always the case. Okay, so just the key here is you just need to read the ingredients. If you're ordering a salad that has things like maybe some kale, some spinach, some protein within it, maybe a little bit of carrot or beetroot, maybe some pumpkin, that's going to be a really good salad for you to be eating. But if it starts to add in all of the fats from the seeds, the nuts, the fruits, that kind of thing, it's just going to jump it up so high. So don't just make these assumptions without actually investigating further what the ingredients are. Now, another one in terms of ice creams. So, Skinny Cow marketed as being the the healthier option, okay? Versus your Splice, which has got actual proper vanilla ice cream in it. This one is 150 calories versus 80. So again, there are vast differences in calories, and it's just funny because this one is marketed as being the healthier option. So again, it's just about the importance of turning the package over and actually looking at the nutrition label as well as the ingredients list. They are all really, really important. Now, in terms of, here we are. In terms of these kind of options, so quite often we'll go to a shopping centre, and we are subject to Boost juice, we're subject to sushis, and I've just got a chocolate there as well. Okay, so hands up who goes and orders sushi and just gets one sushi roll. Oh, wow, look at you guys. Never, I'm the one that gets three, like I'm a 2 or 3 kind of girl. So in terms of sushi, and I've just got cooked tuna. So cooked tuna per roll, so one roll is 210 calories. Okay, and then why? Because they do contain a little bit, some, not all, put some mayonnaise in there. They put sugar in the rice to make it nice and sweet. And it's a very, very high carb meal because the majority of it is your rice. Your Boost juice. Now, there are a whole range of different Boost juices. There are some really great ones on the market, like, is it the 5 and 6? 2 and 5 is really good. The mint condition is really good. This one's more of your smoothie based. It's a banana type one. That one contains 435 calories. Okay, and then you've got your twirl, which is It is 228 calories. Okay, so I'm not advocating for you all to leave here and start just stocking up on chocolate and going to Macca's and going to KFC. I'm not advocating that. I'm just wanting to show you the differences in terms of calories and just how marketing can make you think something very different to what is actual fact. Mythbusters. So eating frequency. Who has heard you need to eat every 2 to 3 hours in order to lose weight? Yeah, that was a common thing. That's not necessarily the truth. You eat whenever you want to eat. If you're at the type of work where you don't get any break, so that means you might only have like your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and that's fine. Or you might be the type of person that only likes to have 2 meals, like maybe breakfast and dinner. That's completely fine. So I think we put so many rules on things where it doesn't necessarily have to be. Carbs at night. Who has heard that one? You can't eat any carbs at night. Yeah. I eat majority of my carbs at night. You can eat it whenever you like. I don't understand where this has come from. It does not make a difference at all when you eat your carbohydrates. You eat your carbohydrates when you want to eat your carbohydrates. Like I don't understand that one. Intermittent fasting is basically just skipping a meal. That's all it is. So instead of having breakfast, you might skip breakfast and start eating at about 12 p.m. instead. There's actually no studies that suggest that intermittent fasting actually allows you to lose weight or to lose weight faster. It's just a means of skipping a meal. There are some days that I do it, but I don't do it for weight loss. I just do it because I like to have more larger meals at dinner time. So I'm saving my calories for my breakfast meal and eating more so at night time. So, yeah, no. Look, you're giving yourself that break in terms of, I suppose, being able to digest your dinner properly, that kind of thing, but there's no studies to suggest that it helps you lose weight. Yeah. Fruit has too much sugar. This one drives me insane. Fruit is fruit. It's got so many goodness in fruit. So I don't want you to sit there and just start taking it away from your diet because you do not need to. And clean eating is mandatory to get results. Again, if you're just clean eating, there's high chances that you're not going to be enjoying the process. So I'm a huge advocate for the whole 80-20 rule. So 80% really good nutritious food and that 20% eating what you really like throughout the day. So if you like for me, I love crumpets with a whole heap of cacao spread on top. And I make sure I allow that throughout the day. So yeah, it's just about that nice balance. That's all you really want. Now, this statistic is quite alarming. 1 in 4 children are classified as overweight, which I think is really just crazy, crazy, crazy. And I think this is why we have to be really more knowledgeable with food. And like I said before, being really looking at the ingredients lists. I think that is so important because so often, you'll look at something and it has like a whole range of ingredients that you can't even pronounce. And I'm like, well, is this really great for our children to be eating? So it's really about just being a little bit more knowledgeable and taking the effort to read what is in their food. So things like health claims, they put things on packages of food in order to draw you in so you can buy it. So things like no added sugar. That is there and you're like, awesome, there's no added sugar, I'm going to buy this, must be great for me. However, if you look at the ingredients, there may not be added sugar in there, but there is sugar within the ingredients. So it might be, I'll use a protein ball for argument's sake. I might say to you, guys, there's no added sugar in there, but there is sugar in the ball because I put dates in there, and dates have got a shitload of sugar. So it's things like that, just being a little bit more aware of what is going in your food. And yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. So like I said, just really taking the time to sit there and look. Now, you may want to take a photo of this slide if you want to know in terms of nutrition labels what you should be looking out for. So always compare 100 grams products. So when you're getting your products out, don't compare serving sizes because one serving size of one brand is going to be completely different to a serving size of another brand. Okay, so this is why it's really important to be looking per 100 grams when you're comparing products to each other. So when you're looking at fats, what you want to be looking for, aiming for, this is per 100 grams, less than 3 grams per 100 and no more than 10 in terms of your fats. Now, there is a bit of a loophole with this, especially for fats, because obviously if a product mostly contains nuts, obviously it's going to be very high per 100 grams because it is nuts. So with fats, I think you should be also looking at what fats are actually within that product as well. Sugars, you want to be aiming between 5 to 10 grams per 100, but no more than 15 grams. Okay, and then in terms of fibre, the more fibre you can get within your products, the better it will be for you. Okay, so really looking at high fibre food groups is really important. Now, ingredients lists. Again, I don't know if you guys are aware, but when you look at ingredients lists, they order it in terms of quantity within that product. The first ingredient that is listed in your ingredients list is the one that is the most prominent in that product. And then it goes on from there. Okay, so always remember the first couple of ingredients are the ones that are going to be the most prominent in that specific product that you're purchasing. And ideally, you want to be avoiding sugar and salt within the first couple of ingredients, okay? Because you don't want to be buying something that contains second ingredients sugar, okay? Because that means a shitload of sugar is in that type of product. All right. Now, meal prepping time. Do you guys want to get up and stand up and move your legs a little bit, or are you happy for me to just stand up? Yeah, get up. If you do, we'll maybe do 5 minutes, we'll start again. So if you want to go get some more food. All right, guys, let's get stuck into the cooking. The fun stuff. Okay, so I've got some of my favorite gadgets that I was going to show you. So, okay, I have to admit, the Kmart mini processor, it's out the back because I saw, here we go, I saw an Instagram influencer using it and I was like, oh, that looks good. I tried it myself. Shit. So I was like, I'm not going to come up here and show you a shit product. So then you go and then spend your money, even though it was like very minimal money, but still. So scrap that, scrap that. George Foreman, amazing. Like you could obviously cook your proteins in that. You can make like, wraps in that kind of thing. Oh, no, it was this one that was bad, the handheld one. This is great. Now, I use this. So quite often I will go to the shops and I'll buy chicken breast, just chicken breast pieces, and then I will mince it myself using this. Okay, so basically I just cut it up into smaller pieces and then I just make my chicken mince in this kind of processor. It's that strong that it actually minces it. So it is amazing. Things like onion, that kind of thing. If you needed to, process up any kind of vegetables, this does an amazing, amazing job. So I would highly recommend that. The reason why I wouldn't recommend buying minced chicken breast already minced is because typically the turkey breast and the chicken breast minced is all your offcuts and quite fatty. So this is why I would always just go and purchase the turkey breast fillets and then I cut it up myself and mince it in that. And the same thing with my chicken breast as well. Now, Thermomix, obviously, I love it to bits. It is more of an expensive tool. It is quite an investment, but I can't talk highly enough of that. I use it multiple times a day. I just literally couldn't live without it. And I feel like it's one of those things, if you are a very busy person, it makes cooking a hell of a lot easier to do. So this is why I really do rely on that quite a bit. And this pie maker is the best thing I have ever. Next to this is my most favorite appliance. And I'm gonna be cooking everything in this today. I'm gonna be cooking zucchini slices. I'm going to be cooking corn and zucchini fritters in this. I'm going to be cooking pancakes in this. I'm going to be cooking stuffed mushrooms in this. I'm going to be cooking pretty much everything in this today. So I'm going to show you different ways you can use this. $29 and the best money I have ever spent. Poached eggs in this. Yes, I sure can. That's what it looks like. So I literally cook everything in this, and it is the biggest game-changing appliance I've ever purchased. So yeah, majority of stuff is going to come from there. Now, first thing I'm going to be cooking is oats, overnight oats. So overnight oats are a really, really good thing to be cooking, especially if you're a busy mum. Because basically you can just prepare it the night before and then put it in your fridge. It will sit overnight. When you initially make it, it will seem quite runny, but quite quickly the oats will absorb all the moisture and then it will come out nice and thick the next morning. And because it's been sitting overnight, the flavors ooze so beautifully throughout the oats, I can't even tell you. So I'm going to be making 3 different variations. So we've got a carrot cake one, an apple pie one, as well as a choc berry one. So very, very, very easy these are. If my boob does fall out, please let me know. I am so paranoid because I'm leaning over. I'm just like, as you can see, I'm just like constantly pushing it back. So, yes. I can? Oh. All right, let's tuck myself in. Okay, so I've got all of the how much you need of everything up on the screen. So if you haven't already, please screenshot it. So you need half a cup for each of them, half a cup of oats. So this recipe is for one person. Okay, so if you are wanting to make it for a few people, by all means you just have to like double, triple the recipe if you're making it for like a family, your family or that kind of thing. So this is just for one person. So put in oats first. That is key. Then we're going to do 1 medium carrot, which is here. Yep. So just pretend this is a medium carrot. We'll just pretend. So putting my carrot there. Then we have some cinnamon. So pretty much how I have listed everything is how it's going to be, how you're going to enter it in. Some almonds. So remember, almonds are going to be very high in fat, yes? So you might only want to put in like 4 or 5 in there. And then some chia seeds. Chia seeds are really high in protein. Very high in protein. There we are, so they're good, as well as fat. And then we're going to put in some sugar-free maple syrup. So with this, a lot of people are like, it's sugar-free, so it's got a lot of artificial sugars in there. And yes, it does. But it all depends. Like, I'm obviously using this to save calories, but if you're a person that doesn't really care too much about calories, then you could go for just your normal standard maple syrup. So just a smidge. I'm the type of person that really doesn't love measuring. If you have watched my stories, you would know. I just pretty much wing most of my things, but I thought for the purposes of today, let me do it properly and watch me just spill this. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Then, key, mix that through. Yum! So that is that. Okay, so that's that, and then you just pretty much, You'll pretty much just let that sit overnight like so. Okay, yes. This, you're probably looking at around about, I would say only maybe about 180, 160, something like that.
Could you substitute the maple syrup for honey?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So I just got asked if you could substitute maple syrup for honey. 100% you could. Okay. You could substitute it for anything, whether it be syrup. Rice malt syrup would also be completely fine. You just need some sort of sweetener for it. Otherwise, it might be a little bit bland. Now, apple pie. So maybe if I do it like this, it might be quicker. All right. Kmart. I'm a massive advocate for Kmart. Isn't every mum? Like, love it. All right, so we've got this. Now I'm going to grate up one apple, like so. If you could use that little processor right there. You could also use the Thermomix if you have one to just process up the apples. So we'll just do that much. So you want to do one whole apple, guys, if you're going to do this properly. So one whole apple. Again, you want to put in some maple syrup and cinnamon. And cinnamon. And then your milk. So this is how easy like something like your breakfast can be. When someone says to me, oh, I don't have time for that, I think, really? Like, how unbelievably easy. Now, if you do want it a little bit runnier, you could by all means add in a little bit more almond milk. For this one, I would add in a little bit more. So, yeah, there we are. Oh, it's meant to be 1 cup, not half a cup. That's why I'm thinking, why is it so... Woo, there we go. That's better. That is so much better. And then our last one, which is my favourite one, the berries. I love choc berries. Like anything choc berry is just amazing. My gosh, thank you. All right, so this is my favourite. Now with this one, it does say cacao to be using there, which is a little bit bitter, which is fine. But you could also use chocolate greens powder, which is obviously a little bit better for you because it's got some greens within it as well. So again, just up to you what you've got access to. The choc greens powder I actually buy off online. I think I get it off iHerb. So yeah, it's up to you what you want to be doing. And then you put in half a cup. This should be frozen, but obviously it's been here since yesterday. So it is not frozen. There we go. All right. Oh my gosh. What else do we need to put in there? Oh, you could use protein powder. You could use protein powder as well to put in there for additional protein, which would be really, really good. How is a flyer in here? Which would be really, really good in order to help with your protein intake. And chia seeds as well for additional protein. Yeah. 1 scoop, 1 whole scoop, yeah. Because that's 1 serving size, yeah. And then what else do we need to put in? Perfect. So we'll put in the 1 cup of almond milk. So that's 1. And another 1. There we go. So that's pretty much how it's going to be looking. and you stir it all through. So obviously all the ingredients are mixed through really nicely. Let me put this in here. Yeah, and then pretty much the milk will start to get absorbed quite quickly, and you'll see then in the morning when you do go to, when you go eat it, it will be nice and thick, and it'll be really, really so beautiful because all the ingredients would have really set through all of the oats. So there is three examples of overnight oats that you could quite easily make. There should be more milk in that. I only put in half a cup. So yeah, so 1 cup of everything. There you have it. And that's just a really, really easy breakfast option that you can just grab and go in the morning, and you know, you can eat when you get to work. You can even eat on the way to work if you needed to. So yeah, just very, very easy. And I would recommend you do put protein powder in there just to give yourself that higher protein intake, because quite often we do forget to add additional protein to our meals. So yeah, that's that. Did I put cacao in there? Oh, perfect. So there's your 3 overnight oats. You'll just chuck them in the fridge like so. Does anyone have any questions regarding that? Yes. No. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I don't. I mean, it's a really good, just quick one where you can quickly go and grab and eat. Yeah. So that's that. They're your overnight oats. Then we have egg dishes. So I'm going to be making everything in this pie maker, as I mentioned before. So first of all, I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually make poached eggs in this, and even poached egg whites. Okay, so the difference between an egg and an egg white is the whole egg, the yolk contains the fat and the white is the protein. Okay, so if you do just need some extra protein in your diet and you don't necessarily want the fat from the yolk, you could just easily just make up a few egg whites in the pie maker. And I do find that instead of boiling eggs, these come out, I don't know, I feel like it comes out more, I feel like it comes up like the whole egg's in there. I don't know, it's just weird how it kind of works. But I shall show you now how easy it is, because how often do you go to a cafe and you're like, gosh, I wish I knew how to do a poached egg at home, and you just can never get it right. With the timing, I generally will time it around about the 4-minute mark, but you don't, and a great thing about this as well, you don't need to add any oil whatsoever. It is non-stick, and it is true non-stick, like nothing gets stuck to it, which is just great. So go Kmart, I say. Go Kmart. So I'm just going to do 1 full egg in there. Where's my bin? And I'll do an egg white as well, so you can see, and I'll turn it around so you can actually see how it's just sitting in these cute little pie. All right. So I'll just turn it around so hopefully you guys can actually see this forming. All right, so pretty much that's what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. So I've got like a little egg white sitting in there, as well as a whole egg sitting in there. Alrighty, I don't know if you can kind of see that. So I'm just basically going to close that, and then that can get cooking. Okay, now in terms of a vegetable slice, this is how easy. How easy, how easy. Again, this could be really good used as a snack in the kids' lunch boxes. It could be a breakfast idea. Like, there are so many different ways you could use this zucchini slice, as well as the egg cups. So I am first going to put in I've got grated zucchini, and I've also got some grated sweet potato, but you could literally use anything, whether it be grated pumpkin, whether it be some mushrooms added in there, whether you want to put in some tomatoes, whatever it is, and it literally doesn't take hardly any time at all. So, first of all, I'm going to put in a little bit of sweet potato. Again, if you're making a big batch, which I would recommend you do, whenever you cook, always cook enough for like double, okay? Because then it saves you from having to be in the kitchen day in and day out, cooking and recooking and recooking and recooking. So always just cook enough, for double. So basically all I put in there is zucchini, sweet potato, I'm gonna put in a few mushrooms, and I'm also going to then crack open some eggs. I'll do one for the purpose of this. All right, there we have it. And there we are, just beat everything together. Now seasoning, I didn't bring my seasoning today. That is one thing that I stuffed up. With seasoning, I'm sure you guys are all well aware of the seasoning that I always use, Herbamare, as well as Mingle seasoning. So Herbamare is just found in the health food section of the supermarket, and it honestly just tastes so delicious, and you don't need to put, yes, but it's only in the health food aisle of the supermarket. Yeah, you literally don't need to put a hell of a lot of it because it can be a little bit strong. And Mingle seasoning is amazing as well. So I don't know if you guys are aware of Mingle. You can buy it online, but you can also buy it at Lamana supermarkets. I think some Coles are starting to stock it, but it's Coles like down Hawthorne Way, Q Way, that kind of thing. Now with Mingle seasoning, the reason why I really love it is because, so it's basically like, just say the tub is like called Sienna for argument's sake, and it's more of a hot one. But they include all real herbs in there. So it's none of this like Moroccan seasoning and I don't know, Italian herbs, that kind of thing. It's all got your proper like real herbs within it that they've mixed through themselves. So there's no artificial sugars in there. There's no added sweeteners in there. There's the sodium levels are quite good. It's gluten-free. Like it's a really good product. And I'm spewing that I didn't bring it here today. But yeah, it is. If you are following me on my Mummy Revival Instagram page, I'll post it up today so you can see the different Mingle products as well as the Herbamare that I always use for everything. Now, let's get rid of this. The eggs are pretty much done. So as you can do, if in the morning, as you can just crack your eggs open, go do your makeup, go do your hair, come back to your eggs and they're finished. Look at that. See how good it is? And then what I'll do is I will pop out the eggs, and this is how easy or how effortless they come out. Okay, this is how effortless it's going to just pop out of here. Actually, I'll use a knife. All right, egg white, done. Look how cute it is. See? There we are. And then the whole egg. Whoop. There we go. Oops. The whole egg. See? Put it on some piece of bread, and there you've done it. 100%. Yep. And then if I crack that open, look at that, perfect. Is that not the perfectly cooked poached egg you have ever seen in your life? So there you have it. Now I will show you the egg, so the egg cups as well as the vegetable slice. So where did I put my vegetable slice? Does anyone know? Oh, here. Okay. So you could also put some cheese in there. Some melted cheese would be quite nice as well. So I'm just going to pop this in one of the little egg cups. So that pretty much made two. Alrighty. My next one is, so you could use ham, you could use turkey, You could use like maybe some roast beef. These are more like deli type meats. You could use bacon, whatever you like. Again, another one that you could use for lunch boxes, kids lunch boxes. You could use this as like to take to work for some lunch. You could use this as a breakfast option. Yeah, it's just such a good versatile little dish. Now basically this is going to form the case. I'll show you what I'm going to do. This is going to form the case. So this is going to sit in the pie maker like so, and then I'm going to put an egg inside it. Okay, so I'll show you what it shall look like. Now, what you could do is also do like a zucchini slice mix, like put all the vegetables in there, and then mix that through with an egg, and then insert it into the ham or the turkey or the bacon. So it's up to you what you want to do, but I shall show you what I'm going to do right now. All right, so again, I'll try not to spill it. That's pretty much what it looks like. I don't know if you can see for the moment, but the ham's on the bottom as the base, and I've just cracked open an egg inside it. But like I said before, you could do the zucchini slice mix and just mix that together and then insert that into the case as well. So again, there are so many different varieties. Like I mentioned before, what I would always do is just cook a whole heap of these and then just freeze them, or put them in the fridge and just have them ready to go for each day of the week. So, you know, you could do like, and these take no time at all. Like seriously, how long has it taken to me to mix some things together and then chuck it in there and then wait a couple of minutes before it's ready? Like these are so easy, and it's great for time poor people. But I think where people tend to go wrong with meal prepping is they only cook for one meal and they're like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then you find yourself, you're in the kitchen every single day and you're just tired and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't be bothered. But if you just do it, you know, a whole batch, you know, at the beginning of the week or whenever you've got that time, and then you can just freeze it and then just go and then just get it as you go, I think it can really help so much. So they're the couple of egg dishes that I was going to show you. While that's cooking, I shall go to my lunch or lunch. Again, these aren't exclusive to lunch or for breakfast, that kind of thing. But just to show you, so the stuffed mushrooms I'm actually going to do in the pie maker as well. So stuffed mushrooms, this could be used for dinner, again for lunch, breakfast, whatever you like, as snacks. Completely up to you. And I actually tried this the other day on Aaron and I was like, can you just quickly try it to see if it worked out? And he was like, this is so good. So a big tick. Nori roll-ups. So nori are just basically the sushis, and then you use that as your bread, as your wraps. And these are really delicious. Like just a really low calorie lunch idea. And then corn and zucchini fritters I'm actually going to be making in there as well. Okay, so I'll just see how the zucchini is coming through, how these slices are coming. Yeah, they need a little bit more time. Okay, so while that's doing that, I shall just, Aaron, can you do me a favour? Can you just chuck these in the fridge for me?
Sorry, I'm at home, see? No worries, darling.
There we are. I don't need them. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, actually I need the oats, I think. Okay. So, everyone loves a wrap, yeah? Everyone loves a good little wrap. And again, just a different option, a different way to maybe spice up your meals, because like I said at the beginning, we tend to just go always or gravitate towards the same meals day in and day out, and you're like, oh, I can get so sick and tired of this. So it's just like something a little bit different for you. So again, you could use whatever you like. With these, they do tend to get dry quite quickly, so you just need to make sure that you are sealing them properly. Jesus, there we are. that you're sealing them properly when you have finished making them. So, does everyone like sushi? Oh, I love it. No, I need them. Nothing now. Oh, all right, this is not happening for me. All right. So, there we go. We are getting somewhere. All right, so basically you got your sheet. Okay, I've got my avocado. I'm going to slice that up like so. And you'll tend to put it on kind of like towards the end of your sheet. And you could use whatever vegetables that you like. Again, it's completely up to you. And then you're going to get your canned tuna, which I've already drained. And then you just put, I've got the slices because I just find they're easier to manage. And then, it's that Serena, yeah. And then you just wrap it up like so. Oop, wrap it up like so. So there you have it. It does a little bit, but you know, it's pretty delicious still. So you will just have to cut off the ends that you don't use. Oh. Cut off the ends that you don't use, and then you've got like a nice little wrap like so. Yeah, nice little wrap like so. That you will just eat, obviously, then and there. Now, let's go back to this, because I think it is ready. Perfect. All right, so there's your zucchini slices done. And your poached eggs are done in your ham or whatever kind of protein you wanted to use. And yeah, you could use these, put these in the kiddies' lunch boxes if you wanted to. Take it to work as a really nice little healthy snack for you, or for some lunch as well. So there you have it. And again, I just love how easy they just pop up. So you're not sitting there having to like get it out. See, like so. Just so easy and just so yummy. And you'll also just make sure you do season it, because seasoning can make a world of difference. Oh, it's hot. There we are. So there you have it. There you have it. All right, next, stuffed mushrooms. All right, so you'll get your mushroom, like the portobello type ones. Obviously wash them and just put it straight in like so. It may not fit initially, so this one, because they are quite bigger, they're not fitting in perfectly, but that's completely fine. Okay, because it will, as you know, mushrooms tend to shrink, so it will shrink a little bit and it will fit in there nice and concisely. Then, where's my bowl? Where's my bowl? Here. All right. So, again, I'm going to put in very similar to what I did with the zucchini slice. So I'm going to put in some mushrooms, some zucchini, and some carrot or sweet potato. And I'm also going to put in a little bit of bacon as well. Josh, I'm so sorry. There we are. There we are. And I've got some bacon that I'm also going to put in here. Again, this could be a really yummy breakfast idea. And just break it up. Just tear up your bacon like so. And then you're going to crack in an egg as well. And then you could add in some cheese too, which will be so delicious. Go there. So, so delicious. Go. All right. So, there we have it. So all it is got some whatever veggies you like, as well as some ham, put it inside the cup of the mushroom. And so that filled up 2 mushrooms, that little bit that I had. So I'll try and turn it around. All right, so there we have it. So the mushroom, as you can see, is just literally sitting on top, but I'm going to squish it now so it can fit inside, like so. And that's that. While that is cooking, I'm going to do the fritters. Are we ready? Okay, so now in terms of the fritters, I've already got my zucchini and my carrot ready to go. So that's here. Move that. Okay. Zucchini, carrot ready to go. I'll get my bowl. Now this will make a massive batch, yeah? But again, great because you can freeze them. All right, zucchini, and then we'll get my 2 eggs. Seasoning, really important. Gosh. All right, there we go. Then flour. So this is actually spelt flour. Now the reason why I'm using spelt is because it actually contains more protein than what any kind of flour does. So I am a big fan of spelt. You can get it from like the supermarkets, that's completely, they do stock it. How much am I doing? 1.5. There we are. Yes, definitely. Spelt flour I think works even better, to be honest with you. Yep. Like in terms of with baking with it, yep. And then I would generally use a Thermomix to process it all up, but for today I'll just use a fork. All right. So, like which child doesn't like corn fritters? Apart from our kids sometimes. Our kids are honestly the fussiest of fussy you'll ever come across. But generally, kids really do love corn fritters so much. Okay. So yeah, so just mix it all through. Oh, yummy. Which? Mingle? In this one, I just use Herbamare. Yeah. All right. And it will become nice and thick for you, so it's easy to kind of manage. All right, we are getting there. All right. Perfect. Now, if you did use a Thermomix, the benefit would be that the corn will actually be processed. So if your kids are really fussy and they see veggies in there, they wouldn't see the corn. So that's why I tend to always use my Thermomix, because it hides a lot of the veggies. So it just helps me in terms of the likelihood of them actually eating anything. Now, let me get my, oh, burning myself, let me get my fork. So these are done. These are done. Little mushroom cups with bacon, finished. And see how easy? There we are. So we've got, these are the things we've just made. Hey! So that's that. Now, next one will be the fritters. So I'm just going to fill these up with the zucchini and corn fritters. And you could use literally any kind of veggies. If you want to make like a pumpkin-based one, you could. If you want to put some sweet potato in there, you could. If you want to put some like shredded up spinach, you could. Like these recipes aren't exclusive to just what's written on there. You can literally use whatever you like, whatever your kids like. But your typical corn and zucchini fritter, that's pretty much it. Now, while that is cooking, what is next? Protein balls. So, I've cooked 2 of these variations, or made 2 of these variations that are over there. So, the Nutella and the vanilla and cranberry are both over there. The one that's not there is the cookie dough one, which was my absolute favourite. So I may post that if you guys are interested. So this is where the Thermomix really, really helps a lot, because it literally just blitzes it up so easily. Now with protein, the protein balls, if you process it all up and you find that it is slightly grainy and you can't roll it, all you need to do is add a tiny bit of water to it and reprocess it, and then you'll be able to work with rolling it into a ball. So that's pretty much the only thing that sometimes doesn't go to plan, depending on whether or not they do process up nicely. So with the Nutella ones, so you need dates. So these are massive dates, like they're huge. So I may not use all of them, but so dates are very yummy, but dates have got a lot of sugar. So when you go and buy a protein ball, don't automatically think that it is healthy just because it's a protein ball. Okay, you know, like just because something is labeled healthy doesn't necessarily mean that you can eat them in abundance. You have to really be careful of your portions that you're eating. And Sarita spoke about this to me. What did you say about the? Yeah, and you're like, but it's healthy. Yeah. The portion control was the biggest. Yeah. And this is the thing, just because something is labelled as healthy doesn't mean you can just eat so much of it. So yeah, when you're making these, they are so good, but you just can't stop at one. And that's really the problem that most of us have. What was that? Oh, probably, look, I don't 100% know. The Nutella ones will probably be around about the 80 per ball. The other ones, the cookie dough ones, where you're probably looking at around about 120 per ball. Hey? Yes, that's exactly right. Where's my hazelnuts here? So, yeah, I'll just make these ones up so you can see yourself just how easy it is to actually make them. And you know, we spend so much money on, you know, buying these things, but you can just easily just make it yourself, you know, and it doesn't take time, but you can always freeze them as well. Cacao. Okay. I make heaps of flavours. I do. The boys love them. Like, this is one thing that the boys, well, Hendrix loves. He calls them cakes. So he's like, Mummy, can I please have one of your cakes? Which is really cute because he doesn't really often eat a lot. And I quite often will try and like disguise things in there. Like, I will put in some greens powder in there just so he's getting at least something, some sort of green in there. I put in the other day zucchini, and he didn't know. He was none the wiser. He was like, this is so good. So I was like, awesome. Yes, something. He's eating something. Do I have, here. All right, and like I said, I'm not massive one to just measure. I just kind of like do it by eye, but I have got the measurements up for you. And then if something doesn't really work, I just try and fix it by adding a little bit more water to the mix. And then as you can hear, that it starts getting a little bit like harder almost for the blades to get going. And that means you're on a good thing. It means it's getting nice and thick when it's getting processed, when it's turning around. Yep, so I need to add in a little bit more water, which I'll do right here. And remix. And the fritters are nearly ready, which is great. All right. Yeah, perfect. All right, awesome. So that's the consistency right there. So you can see it's quite thick. And then you just basically need to roll into balls and then just try and refrain from not eating all of them at the one time, because that's the hardest part. And there you have it. There you have all the balls, and there's going to be heaps here. So what I'll get maybe Aaron to do is, can you not eat them? Maybe one big one. Can you maybe just get rid of this mixture so I can make the other one?
How would you like me to get rid of it?
Maybe just put it in a
Yeah.
somewhere.
Let me get rid of it.
Yes.
Where's the fork, please?
Okay, so that's one type of protein right there. So really, really easy. Yeah, and then obviously you set them and they'll become nice and hard. And then, oh shit, it's already 12 o'clock. All right, what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna go through the other protein ball because, yes. Yep. I'll go through the pancakes, yeah? So you can see how to make the yummy pancakes in the pie maker. And then you guys can be free. Okay. So, put this here. Now, yum. So these are the muffins. So not muffins. They do look like muffins because I've cooked them in here. But that is the corn and zucchini fritters right there. If you fried them up, obviously they would look different. But obviously then you would also have to use oil in order to cook them. Whereas with this, you're getting rid of that kind of step. No oil is needed. So that's that. All right, next step, or last one, is going to be the pancakes. So I'm going to actually make this one right here. So hopefully Aaron's got my Thermomix. Forgot. Typical male forgets what he was meant to be doing. All right, so I'll just mash up the banana. So with this, with the pancakes, you can, like there's so flexibility. So you've got two variations here. So you've got two variations. One which is quite, I suppose a little bit more, if you want to call it cleaner as such, because there's just literally eggs, banana and protein powder. You don't have to put protein powder in there if you don't like, but protein obviously just for that boost of protein. And then you top it with, whatever you like. And then we've got the other one that I'm going to be making, which basically just has a little bit of oats. So the only difference is this one's going to be a little bit more calorie dense than the other one because of the oats. But that's pretty much the only real difference, as well as this one's got a little bit of almond milk. So yeah, so basically what you need to do is just pretty much process all of that up until it becomes like a liquid, and then just transfer that into the into this. What is this? A pie maker. Into the pie maker, and then just wait for it to cook. That's pretty much it. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Yes. Would that make? Yes, that would that's pretty much what this is. Two people. Yeah. So basically you want to try and keep to half a cup of oats per person, generally. So yeah, that will generally cook for two. Any other questions? Anything about what I've gone through at all today? How long have I had it for? Yeah, I know. And I do use it every day. And I've just cooked so many different dishes in it. Well, funnily enough, I have one today here to give away to someone. So, how long have I had it for? I think I've had it for around about 3 months. And it's still that non-stick? Yeah, I use it every day because I make poached eggs pretty much every day. So, yeah, it is a really good buy, a really good purchase.
That's the first dish I've ever watched him around.
He puts everything in the dishwasher. Doesn't wash. All right, so we have a banana. Let's take that bit off. All right. So I typically don't mash bananas because I suppose you just process it all up. So it just removes a step. From there, we've got 1 cup of oats. Where's my cup? Oh, here. All right. Yeah, it's just less processed. Yeah, so a little bit easier for you to digest, that kind of thing, as opposed to a quick oat. So we've got oats are in, 2 eggs need to go in. Has this got everyone hungry? All this cooking? No, not really? Okay, that's good. That is good. There we go. And almond milk. Protein powder. Yeah, so there are 2 that I would recommend, or 3 that I would recommend. Next Generation is the one that we supply, and it's great because the sugars are so low, carbs are really low, so it's really low in terms of their whole calorie. Mirrabooka is another one that I use, which you can only get it online, so that's the only kind of downfall of that one. And Happy Way is good because the ingredients in there are quite natural. So they're the 3 that I would recommend, but I always go for vanilla because I feel like vanilla just makes food taste really nice. It's not too overpowering. Yeah, it's not too overpowering. So that's what I kind of like about it. Yep, yep. So there we have the pancake mixture going in. Done. And then you can pretty much just top it with whatever you like. So that's that. So, yeah, like I said, does anyone have any other questions while they are cooking away? Sorry? Oh, this. Yeah, 100%. And that you can get like one similar from like Kmart. But yeah, that's got the power to really process everything up quite well. So yeah, before I had the Thermomix, that's all I ever used to use.
And Aldi have like cheaper versions. I have the Thermomix, but
Yep.
Aldi have cheaper versions of the Thermomix.
Oh, there you go.
Which I think
Well, compared to like, yeah. Yeah, well, there you go. Is it 2,000? Yeah, 2,000. But you can get it in, like you can pay it off monthly, and they don't have, it's interest free, so you don't pay interest upon if you do decide to do like the monthly payments. Yeah, 100%. You could, like anything, any meal you can think of, it will cook. Like whether it be curries, stir fries, everything, risottos, yeah, everything. Yeah, sorbets, yeah, it does everything. Espresso martinis. Any other questions? Did we get anything out of today? I hope so. Yes? That everyone's going to go buy a Kmart pie maker? Any other questions for me?
Yeah, we'll have, thank you to Alex who recorded the whole thing, so
Yeah.
we'll post it.
Yep. This one is from The Good Guys, but Kmart has pretty much, I think, very similar, if not, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yes?
A little hack I use for my is called reduce the calories and in an all sort of oil, like a tablespoon of oil. This sauce is just for combining with applesauce.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Calorie conscious to reduce it by doing that.
That's a good one. Yep. Applesauce, and you can even make applesauce your own, like just literally just steaming up some apples yourself and then processing it. So that's quite easy to do. What was that? Yes. Yes, 100%. This isn't pure maple syrup. This is just sugar-free one, but you can get pure, yes. The only reason why I use this is just for calories, to save calories, because, you know, using this as opposed to a pure maple syrup could like triple in terms of calories. So just to save, yeah. Yeah, so that's the only reason why. Like, I mean, if calories isn't on your radar, then, you know, you would go for, you know, your proper variety. That's 100%. All right. Thank you very much, guys. So enjoy. If you do want to ask any questions, by all means, stick around. You can ask questions. But yeah, all good. Thank you.